Oklahoma City. Whether they earn it or not, the Detroit Pistons are likely going to the playoffs. They could move closer Sunday at Little Caesars Arena if they can beat the still playoff-eligible Charlotte Hornets and Miami loses at Toronto. Even if the clincher doesn't come until Wednesday night, it would take a collapse for the Pistons to start planning trips to exotic locales. The Memphis Grizzlies, a lottery-bound team, come to town Tuesday night, before the season finale Wednesday night at the tanking New York Knicks. The Pistons are 39-40 after Friday night's 123-110 loss at Oklahoma City. They fell for the third straight time and dropped to the Eastern Conference 8th seed despite Blake Griffin's 45-point outing after missing 3 games with a sore left knee. The Pistons want to do more than limp into the playoffs. They want to roar into the postseason. That was the message from first-year coach Dwayne Casey in the visitors' locker room at Chesapeake Energy Arena. "We should have all 3, Pistons shooting guard Wayne Ellington said. "I'm going to be greedy with that, we should have all 3 of these. We facing teams that aren't in the playoffs. Charlotte is still in it, so you got to respect them. Other than that, we'll be playing teams that aren't in the playoff race, so we got to take care of business." Blake's back. Although the Pistons still have work to complete, the fan base can rest a bit easier with Griffin's return to the lineup. There was fear his sore left knee could endanger his season, especially after the injury history of the last several seasons. But the 3 games off appeared to rejuvenate him. Griffin was 11 for 20 and 9 for 14 from three-point range, 1 three-pointer short of tying the franchise record for makes in a game Friday night. His third three-pointer pushed the Pistons' lead to 17-13 midway through the first quarter. And his sixth of the first half, a 29-footer, gave the Pistons the 66-65 lead at halftime. "There were no issues with his knee, obviously that's a good thing," Casey said. "But there were 2 issues. There was no help for Griffin offensively. Andre Drummond struggled with foul trouble. Reggie Jackson and Wayne Ellington combined to shoot 7 for 26 from the field. Langston Galloway was 1 for 5 from three-point range, and Luke Kennard looked overwhelmed by Thunder's length and athleticism. Ish Smith, 12 points, was the only perimeter threat to make at least half of his field goal attempts. And then the Pistons were bullied by 27 on the glass, which led to the Thunder scoring 27 second chance points. It's the third straight game the Pistons were bullied in the paint, with the Indiana Pacers doing the honors in consecutive games. That's tough to overcome no matter how hard you playing, Casey said. "I love our grit and fight for 3 quarters, but our rebounding has to come back to us. We have to do a better job of turning, hitting and then going back to get the rebound. That was an Achilles heel just as much as our bad offense was in the fourth quarter. Still in good shape." Griffin and most of the team was in good spirits. They know that it would take a catastrophic collapse to miss the playoffs, which would be the second appearance in a decade for the franchise. "Mentally we're in a good spot," Griffin said. "We're pretty resilient. We've been through some ups and downs. I think we really believe in ourselves, and I like that." Of the 5 teams vying for the final 3 spots in the Eastern Conference, the Pistons have by far the easiest schedule remaining, facing teams with a winning percentage of 35.4%. But there is a scenario that if the Pistons finish in a 3-way tie with Brooklyn and Miami in vying for the final 2 spots, they would be left out because the Heat and Nets would better the Pistons' 3-4 record against the 2 teams. But this late in the season, it's tough to count on help from strong teams, which could rest players with seeding clinched, although that typically comes on the final 2 days of the season as coaches are reluctant to break rhythms a week before the playoffs begin next Saturday. But it shouldn't matter. Win and get in. Everything personal, whatever is going on in our lives, good, bad, or indifferent, we got to flush it down, come back in as a group and be ready to perform on Sunday and then Tuesday and Wednesday, Casey said.